Are you maximising the cash flow potential of your used machinery? I'm Lyndon Smith. Welcome back to Steel Pushers.
And I'm Steve Krebs, co-founder of Machines for You, and excited to talk about this great topic, Lyndon.
That's it. Used machinery and making sure you're getting the maximum you can out of it.
Yep. So here we are today, live at our new studio here in Broadbeach.
Hey, check it.
So our marketing team's been very busy over the last couple of weeks, and we're actually moved into this new studio, so it's very exciting for us.
Yeah, it's great to see us. It was a little weird walking up the stairs and seeing our mugs on the wall outside. It was full on, but yeah, a welcome addition. Yeah, it was good fun.
Yep. Firstly, like the last 2 weeks ago, we ran our first show and we're over 1,000 views, so it's really exciting for you steel pushers out there. It's obviously needed in the industry. People enjoyed the topic that we had last time, and we've had great feedback.
Yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. It's great to get the support, and yeah, with over 1,000 views for our first episode, that was fantastic. And remember, we're live, so that means throw those questions at us.
And the same as last show, we're going to give out 3 packs to people who ask some good questions, and we use the questions on show. So 3 people are going to get the prize pack of the cap and the shirt.
Yeah, that's this cap and this shirt. Dan, Paul and Daniel received it last fortnight. I hope you're enjoying it. If you can, shoot us through a selfie of you wearing the gear.
Outside your business, of course, or in front of your coolest machine you've got in your yard.
That's it.
Yeah.
So the first part of today's episode that we're going to cover is it's to do with your lead generation. So what we found is, on average, used machinery will bring in up to 3 times more inquiry than new. This is on our site, and that's across all industries. It will fluctuate.
Yeah, so our data team, we're always looking in the data of what's actually going on the site and how we can improve things. But 3 times more inquiry right across the board. So when we're talking about things like construction equipment, it could be up to 8 times.
Yeah, the used construction equipment listings it's up to 8 times more inquiry than new. It does fluctuate industry to industry, but across the board on average, it's 3 times the inquiry. What that means for you guys is it's really important to make sure that you are listing as much of your equipment as you can.
Well, it's the old story, isn't it? You can't sell a secret.
Yeah.
And the amount of times we walk into businesses and showrooms and we're like, hang on a sec, you got all this equipment, why is it not actually on your website? And, why is it not on our marketplace? So many businesses get caught and they haven't loaded all their machines onto the place where they're going to get the leads.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of guys out there, and I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it out there as well in the years you've been pushing steel, is you'll have a business that goes, I'm only going to list this equipment, or I'm only going to list this equipment. List everything, your parts, your machinery, anything that you're doing for wrecking, everything you can think of, get it up everywhere.
Yeah, so when we talk about parts, we're not, we know a lot of you steel pushers have got a heap of parts. You got big parts departments, you got, millions of dollars worth of parts sitting on the shelf. It's not about trying to bring in 10,000 parts to your website or to our site. It's about having 50 of your top best selling parts on the site.
That's your spot on there. Pick your best sellers when it comes to parts and things like that. If you've got a yard with 600 machines in it, stick to your top 10, top 20, even your top 50. Use the machines that are already getting a lot of traffic. Use the machines that have been successful for you in the past. Bring in those leads. Cater to the market. Have a look at what it's doing. Have a look at how you've been successful and keep doing it.
Exactly. All right, so it's all about, if you want to, used machinery is great for leveraging to sell new machinery as well. So this conversation today wasn't just about, how do we sell more used? It's actually, how do we use the used to sell more new machinery, Lyndon?
Yeah, that's right. And that's what we're leading into, because as we were just discussing, with making sure that you're staying and following what your market's doing, if you know the brands that the market is looking at, you want to make sure that you're leveraging your used machinery that fit those brands to generate leads for your new. And with that 3 times the generation of inquiry on used machinery listings, you can use those leads to get, draw over potential buyers to your new machinery. You've got a couple of good stories in that sort of vein, haven't you?
Well, I've seen it over the years of like some really smart operators who do this really well. And I'm thinking of one guy in particular down in Melbourne. I won't say who it is, but he just uses this so well because he understands the top search brands in his category. And what he does, he makes sure he buys some of those good used equipment of that category. So if he's selling panel saws, for example, he has the top searched brands of panel saws. He has them set up in his showroom. Nice used machinery. Yeah, come on over, mate. We'll do a demonstration for you. Of course, he takes them through the used machine, and out the other end a board comes. But of course, he's like, oh, do you want to just wander over here and have a look at this nice new one I've got set up, And Bob's your uncle. Better finance offer.
Servicing, warranties. Yeah.
All of a sudden, he sold a nice new machine.
Yeah, that's right, and that's part and parcel of making sure that you're really maximising, as I said, the cash flow potential of that used machinery. It's not just about selling that used machine for a good price. Don't get us wrong. If you get a good offer for that bit of used, sell it. Buy a couple more to replace it. But what you want to make sure is that you're using the good brands you've got to generate that interest, to push to your new machinery. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah, great point, Lyndon, because, I think we only got the brand information. The data's always there in our site, but we pulled out the brand information a couple of years ago, and it just tells us so much. So we can see all the top brands per a category.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got a couple of top brands that we've listed here. We've got 4 sections, 4 of our major top categories that you can see on the screen.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea of what we're talking about here, if we look at, say, excavators, for example, so your top brands, you're looking at Kubota, Caterpillar, and Yanmar.
Yeah.
So let's say you've got a Cat sitting out the back, but it's the only one you got. But you've got a bunch of brand new excavators that can do the same tonnage, that can do the same job, and maybe there's only a minimal difference in the price.
Yeah.
You want to maybe push a few people towards getting that new machine sold.
Well, otherwise you're missing out. You're just not getting all those volume of inquiries, and it's the old 80-20 rule in business that, 80% of your results comes from 20%. So if we put that in relation to brands, 80% of the inquiries goes to 20% of the top brands.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you don't have that brand, go and leverage off it. Go and get that brand and get that good used machine.
That's right.
So we've got all this data. I mean, if you want to talk to our account managers, you can. They're quite happy to give you the brand, the top 10 brands in each of the categories. Give us a bell.
Yeah,
talk to Lyndon.
Come and have give me a call, especially if you're in Queensland. I'll give you a good hand. And guys, remember as well that don't get us wrong. It's a great decision to start selling your used machinery that you've had sitting there. It's an incredible accounting decision. I mean, if you've got all this extra money sitting there, it's a great accounting decision to make sure that you've got that used machinery going out the door.
But, the accountants say go and clear it out.
Yeah.
They don't want it there. They go and say send it to auction.
Yeah, that's
clear
right.
it out.
But just maybe make the effort, keep a couple, or make sure you replace a couple. Make sure they're the good brands, because they're going to generate a lot of inquiry for you that you're going to want.
Yep. So just on statistics and brands, our team have been very busy over the last 6 months, and guess what they've come out with? What do we got here, Lyndon?
So this is the Big Orange Report, guys. This is a complete industry, marketplace trends and buyer behaviour report. So it's going to show and provide a lot of valuable information. Everyone that actually registered today will actually be receiving an early access copy digitally for the Big Orange Report.
And they're talking about launching this out into the marketplace for everyone next month.
Yeah, over the next month, we're going to see it go into the market, yeah.
Yeah, so, the things you're going to be able to use it for is some interesting stats that you're not going to know about, possibly, because you've got all your own stats, but this one's actually going to give you what's happening with your competition.
Yeah,
it's going to give
right.
you what's happening with the other brands. Because we're so neutral, we're happy to share this information. It's not going to cost anything. We're happy to put it out into the market and use it for things like purchasing machinery. It's going to help you decide which are the categories that you should be buying and buying more of in stock so that you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's right. And when you're ahead of the game, you're ahead of your competition, so it can only help. A good thing, and on that topic as well, we're moving on to, knowing your data and buying smart, using that information to sell your equipment faster. If you know what the brand's doing, if you know what the market's doing, you're going to sell more gear faster. But a good tip that we can give you today, because you already know what you're doing when it comes to getting a used machine in. We're not talking about your appraisals here. You guys know what you're doing there.
Yeah, they've been doing it for years.
That's right. So what we're talking about here is creating a used machinery content checklist, so that when you get that machine in, you've got a process in place to actually get the content you need to get it listed online and get it sold fast.
This is one of the most crucial points we're going to talk about today. You really, really, really need to grab the good content of that machine before you pull it apart and go and put it in the back of a showroom and it's a lump of steel. You've got to get the great content, Lyndon. You've got to take the video before you pull it apart.
Yeah.
If we're talking about a big CNC lathe and it's operating and you can show the user that machine operating before it's sitting down the back of a showroom, getting dust on it, you're going to get more money for it.
Yeah, that's right. And don't be worried about the visual condition of the machine as well. One thing you want to make sure is if it's working and it's functioning is you get that video content as soon as humanly possible. Get those photos as well. Get 15 to 20 great photos. Make sure that you've got a good PDF spec sheet on how the machine operates. A good way to look at that PDF as well is you think of how many of you guys out there, when you bought a used machine, you guys pushing steel out there, do the research on what company that machine could have come from. Because you guys know who flogs machines.
Yeah.
Who doesn't.
Who doesn't service them well.
Yeah, that's right. So make sure you've got that data. You can put it in a PDF. You're going to help your next potential buyer a lot. And then, of course, your item description. But a big one is pricing it to the market.
Yeah. You don't price it right, you're not going to make money and you're not going to sell it. The other key point on this is to put it part of business process.
Yeah, that's the key aspect.
You've got to have it part of business process. If you don't, all of a sudden it's going to come back to the showroom and you go, we've done it again, no content. Let's just take some photos. Someone's climbing over machines to try and take some photos and make this thing look good. It's dusty as. The buyer's going, hang on, how long has this thing been sitting here?
Yeah.
He's all of a sudden in the power position where he offers you lower money.
Yeah, that's right. So make it a part of the process when you get the machine. The next tip we can give you on this, and you can probably see it on the screen, is that you can actually follow other used machinery searches.
Yes.
I've got an example on the screen now at the moment of ours. So make sure you go and run a search for the used machinery you're trying to sell and see what the market's doing.
Let the platform do the work for you. You guys are so busy, you got to let the platform do the work for you.
Yeah. So look, guys, we'll be back after a quick break. Don't go away. We'll have some great content for you soon. Hi, my name's Lyndon from Machines For You. Today we're here at Tractors North. I'm here to see Adam, and we're going to do a complete photo and video shoot for one of his machines today to show him just how easy it can be. The model that Adam's asked me to shoot today is the T313 by TYM. So we have a tool that's available in the Machines For You Academy, which is a downloadable sheet that's a complete checklist of what you can do to tick off photos required, video shots to take, and you can check it off as normal. With relation to the equipment that you need in taking photos and video of a machine, look, it's great if you've got a gimbal. You don't need one though. Really, the only piece of equipment you definitely need is a phone. So firstly, we'll start with taking photos. We'll start with a 360-degree rotation of the entire machine, taking around about 8 photos of the exterior. From there, we'll move on to the interior of the machine, focusing on things like the seat, the dash, the controls, the pedals, anything of note on the interior or the actual driver's platform of the machine. From there, we'll then move on to specific features, attachment, quick release hydraulics, rear attachments, anything of note or anything really, to put it bluntly, that looks really good in a photo is great to get a shot of. So now that we've done the photos, we're going to move on to getting video footage of the machine. To start with, what we'll do is get Adam to start the machine and then step off the machine for me to do a complete 360 video walking around the machine. Once you've got all the photos and the video content recorded on your phone, you actually don't need to plug it into any other device. You can upload all of those photos and that video content directly to the listing simply by logging into your Machines For You account on your mobile device. Welcome back, guys. So remember as well, we are live. If you've got any questions, shoot them through to us. We'll definitely get to them at the end of the episode. The next point we're really going to touch on is not only getting that content, like we've just touched on, and putting that process in place when you get new machinery, but how important it is, and it's king. It's as simple as that. Content is king.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the stat that the marketing team had grabbed there. 73%. Users are 73% more likely to make an inquiry on a listing with a good video, Lyndon.
Yeah, than one without. Exactly right. And that's a stat you'll find everywhere. That's not just on our site. That's across the board.
Yeah, go and Google it. You'll
Google
see it.
it.
All good marketing people, you know, they know the power of video.
Yeah, that's right.
And especially in this machinery world, you know, when we talk about the power of video, it takes it from just being able to see it. You know, we're visual creatures, but we want to be able to hear things. If we see or hear a used machine operating, quite often we know if it's good, bad, or other.
Yeah, that's right. It just brings, like you said, so many occasions, it brings it up to living.
Yeah.
It becomes a living, breathing machine.
Yeah.
And when you're looking, and that number is really staggering. 73% of people more likely to make an inquiry. And that, when you look at a number like that, it just means you've got much more chance of getting the machine sold faster. The power that video has is that it allows you to not only show the machine working, but to almost even introduce yourself to the buyer before they've even met you. You know?
Yeah, well, this is what's happening now. You know, business ain't 9 to 5 anymore.
Yeah, that's
Everyone's searching, you know, after hours when all the sales teams are gone home. 50% of our leads go through after hours, 9 to 5 and on weekends. 25% of our leads go through on Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's at home with their families.
Yeah, that's right. And it's when you look at the... We are lazy creatures. We really are. And
not all of us. A few.
Oh, not with the gym digs, right, eh?
Wasn't even a gym dig. I don't know where they came from.
Yeah, sure. But look, guys, we're much more likely to watch a video than we are to sit there and read a massive item description. So just make sure that you use video really well. And when you can throw a stat like that and a percentage like that to people that you're selling on consignment for, when you're selling on behalf of someone else, letting them know that they're 73% more likely to get inquiry on that machine just by making sure there's video footage of it working, that's going to help you get the content you need to sell on their behalf.
Well, a lot of the steel pushers out there, they do sell machines on behalf.
Yeah.
It's easier. You don't need to bring it back to the showroom, and you know, and it's less risk for the company. So, you know, you go and sell them the fancy new one and list their machine on behalf, but it's got to have this great content. It's got to have the video.
Yeah, that's right.
End of story.
You need the video. It's as simple as that. Video is the king of content now. So you make sure you make the effort. At least ask the question when you're selling on consignment. You know, see if they can do it. They only need a mobile phone. It really is all they need to get it done.
Yeah.
And that way, you're giving that person at least the best possible shot of getting the machine sold for them. And hey, it's going to make you look great when you get it done.
Yeah. Well, the topic's so big, we're actually going to run it in 2 weeks' time. Just all about video.
Yeah,
so we're going to have a
30-minute
conversation just about video, because we really understand the importance of video. And as used machinery is unique, it's also it's unique to itself, isn't it? Because it's been with a different operator or it's been serviced well. So you really we can't emphasize it enough. Video is the way to go.
That's right. And when you're looking at machinery that's been sitting out the back for a while, that old aged inventory, video's even more powerful there. So, and that's where we're touching on next, is making sure that you manage your aged inventory well, making sure you use absolutely everything at your disposal to get those machines in the back sold.
This is a great one. So this is when you're walking through your showroom and you go past the nice new machines, and then you're going along through your used section and you're like, you know, when your stomach goes, oh, geez, we shouldn't have bought that one, and your face cringes. And you know, you're walking through with a machinery dealer and you notice that they like tense up when they go past a certain machine. It's that one they shouldn't have traded, they shouldn't have bought it, it's sitting there and no one wants to buy it. Collecting dust, depreciating, batteries are going off, bearings are going old.
Seals are breaking, It just gets to a point, guys, where you're going to make sure that aged inventory, you keep it front of mind. You do need to. You need to be aware of what's out the back, how long it's been out the back for. And you guys know this, but it can become a real sore point for a lot of dealers out there. I mean, I've walked into so many warehouses and seen thousands, tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment just sitting there collecting dust.
And I think it's a really good thing to sort out for the company, because everyone else feels that way too. Your team feels that way, and the sales guys are like, oh, I'm not going to sell that one. You know, they're ducking for cover, and once you go and clear it out, you actually feel better. You know, yes, you might lose a few bucks on it, but you bought wrong anyway, so you're better to cut your losses. Turn the cash flow over, get the space for something else to go in there.
Yeah, exactly right. We've actually got a couple of really good techniques that we use. I mean, you can do a number of things. One thing I suggested to one of my members is to hold an open day. Like Dad said, if you've got a warehouse that you can get the public into, run a sausage sizzle, get people on the weekend.
Sale.
Yeah, like a garage sale. Get people coming in and having a look at the gear. Whatever you've got to do. A really good technique we've used is we've actually discovered a really effective way to do, as we were discussing in last fortnight's episode, email marketing, a particular type of email that really works well. You'll actually be able to see it on the screen now, is an example we did for Tilly's.
Yeah, these have been working a treat, and we've done it across a number of different industries now. We've done it in the woodworking industry, the construction, the auction guys are using it. So it's when you're having a clearance, because, you know, if we think about it, quite often when we're actually going to clear a heap of these second-hand machines, we'll just go, oh, let's put it to auction, off out, the truck comes in, takes them all away, and then, of course, we're paying 15%, decent whack to the auction guys, and away these machinery go. But this way, you get to get better dollars for your machines. And what you're doing is you're telling the market, I've got all these machines, we're going to clear them, but you don't put the prices on them, Lyndon.
Yeah, that's right, because what you're seeing now after they hit that button to download the brochure is a full price list, specs on the machines that they were selling. So it's a really effective method of getting genuinely interested buyers, whether irrespective of the stage of buying they're in, whether it be research, whether it be ready to buy, but you get a much better response out of your database or our database or wherever you send it to by using almost an interactive email like this to generate interest on that used machinery. It's really powerful.
So it's a great way of clearing a number of machines. It really works well. Tilly's in the construction industry, they just used it and it was absolutely brilliant. It got a lot of people into their database that now they're working and got them in sales funnels and selling them other machinery and other parts.
Yeah, that's right. Look, a lot of common questions we get asked in the used machinery space.
The first one here we got, is the visual condition of the machine important, Lyndon?
Look, that's a bit of a yes and a no. So, look, if you're looking at getting top dollar for the machine, 100%, visual condition's important. But if you're wanting to get it sold, don't stress. If it works, it's used machinery. These guys are looking for a bit of gear to do a job.
Yeah, so just, you've got to weigh it up each time. It's not either one or the other.
Yeah.
It's each machine you've got to weigh up. Do I just, quickly turn this one over and and get my cash back from obviously selling the new machine? Or do I do it up a bit and get a bit of margin? You know, people are pretty experienced at doing this, but you've really got to consider that fact when you're either trading or, you know, you've got this used machine sitting there.
Yeah. The most important thing is just to make sure you get the content of the machine, irrespective of its visual condition at the time. Make the decision of whether you want top dollar or if you want it sold, and let that be the deciding factor. I think we've actually got a couple of questions from you guys there as well.
So Applied Machinery has asked, any tips to stand out in a crowded category? If everyone has good photos and videos, is it about the headline or the preview text?
Both. When we talk about content is king, positioning is queen. You know, it's where you're coming up in the marketplace. Because if you're in a CNC lathes and CNC machining centers, probably like Daniel is from Applied Machinery there is a lot of choice for the buyers.
Yeah.
So if you're down on page 38,
Yep.
you know, this marketplace is big now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content in there. So what we've got to do is position ourselves and get up the top of the search results, because you're going to get more eyeballs on the great content that you've got. So really, content's king, positioning is queen.
Yeah, he's spot on. That's exactly right. And you're right. You're going to have a lot of machines in one category. If every one of those machines has great content, make sure you're at the top.
The other way to really stand out is to do our industry EDMs.
Yeah.
Because you can have a single machine that you put on as a tile in there. And we've collected massive databases now, and it's live. And we've got these databases that you put your used machine out to them, it brings more people through to your part of the site. So through to your showroom, your online showroom I'm talking about here, Lyndon.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Great question,
Great
though.
question, yeah.
The other one, you know, we get asked quite often, how important is putting a price on a used machine? Jesus,
Look,
that's
I
going to wind you
can't
up.
stress this enough. Look, we understand where POAs come from. It was a big thing in the market 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Nowadays, honestly, your buyers out there don't have the time to give you a call just to check a price. You will always get a better response on especially a piece of used machinery that has a price. Even if you do it at priced from, it's still better to show a dollar figure than none at all.
Yeah.
You will get a better response.
And actually, consider that in your own websites. The amount of machinery dealer website, you steel pushers I go to, that don't have prices on your websites, you're spending all this money and bringing people to it, no prices, they're bouncing out.
Yeah, that's right. Look, guys, it's been a great show. So in summary, we've really what we made sure that we covered today was making sure that you've got good content on those used machines as soon as it comes in.
Yep. Buy well, buy very smart.
Buy smart.
Use the follow system on these marketplaces. I know they're on the other marketplaces like ours.
Yeah.
Let the platform do the work for you. So obviously when someone in the private puts up an ad for a cheap machine, you can be Johnny on the spot and buy it before the other guys. That's going to work well for you.
Yeah, make sure you manage that aged stock. And really, guys, make sure you have the conversation. If you've got aged stock sitting out there, have the chat about getting it sorted. Do whatever you got to do to get it sold. If you've got any questions, give us a buzz. If you need some advice, give any of the account managers and myself a call. We'll help you out.
Yep.
Remember, guys, to tune in as well for the podcast. If you do want to download this at a later date, you'll be able to do that. Also, remember that big orange report is coming. Everyone that did subscribe today is going to get their hands on a copy of this. Also, remember next week's a massive topic.
2 weeks.
Next fortnight. My apologies.
2 weeks. Jeez, the 2 weeks flies by as it is, let alone a week.
It feels like a week. But it's video, and we will go in depth, in detail of how powerful video is, how to use it, how to do it, and how to maximize its potential as well.
And then the other one, we're talking to some interesting people at the moment, so we'll keep you posted, but we've got some interesting people who we're going to be interviewing on the show. We've got a guy who's, their whole company is just all about sales. and we want to talk to them about some interesting topics about closing sales and how to handle leads on the other end when they're coming into these companies.
So guys, remember, subscribe, hit that notification button. We will definitely see you in a fortnight's time for another episode of Steel Pushers. Catch ya.
See you, Steel Pushers.